You're standing on some dune sand in the middle of nowhere, fully bruised, physically destroyed, mentally feeling that what am I doing here?
Olympic family, elite fencer, Israeli special forces, Vipassana practitioner. There's more to him. Economy of behavior. And I know that when you say this, you're referring to people's mental energy.
Seasons of life keep on changing. I don't want to be in a situation that I cannot adapt, I cannot tolerate, I cannot perform, I cannot live life without dreaming. But for me, I'm not looking for the top of the mountain. I will be happy to climb many mountains, but I don't care if I reach to the top or the top of the mountain.
The experience in the forces trained you for having uncertainty be the norm.
I will take it one step forward, and it became my addiction. I went to Africa for 9 months to lose myself one more time so I can find something new.
My guest today has burnt his identity down several times on purpose. Most of us have one identity we're trying to protect, one version of ourselves we spent years building, and then we are terrified of losing it. My guest today has burnt his identity down several times on purpose. Olympic family, elite fencer, Israeli special forces, Vipassana practitioner. There's more to him. And now, quietly from an office space in Bangalore, he's one of the most influential minds shaping how India's greatest athletes and leaders perform under pressure. Our guest today, Nimrod Brokman, has lived several lives. What's remarkable isn't the resume, it's that he seems genuinely unafraid of starting over every single time. Today, we're going to find out why. How does he really do it? What does it actually take to let go of who you are to become who you need to be? What it costs and what it builds. Welcome to Candid with Mira. I'm your host, and this is The Making. Welcome, Mon. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you so much. It's my honor to be part of your podcast and hopefully communicate better to the rest of India.
Yes, that's quite the goal that we have here. When I read your profile for the first time, I confess I was a little overwhelmed, partly intimidated, for the amount I saw as experiences gathered. I'm not even talking about accomplishments. I'm literally just looking at the various walks of life that you have walked. And in my head, the instant thing that showed up is I've got a chance to sit with professionals who seasoned into their work, sat with the army generals, and that's the only area they have worked in. So they have immense to tell. I have sat next to Western vocal artists. They've been learning singing from the time they grew up, and that's something they're heavily specialized into. So a lot of their world is that. And I'm sitting with you, who has lived more than 4 different lives, and I sense it's still building. How do you stitch it together? Tell us.
I just recently reached to my 40s, so one decade for each life. But the true honest about that, coming from, I would say, two places. One, I started my life as a very one person or one thing person. For me, life was fencing, and I did only fencing. I didn't care about friends. I didn't care about school. I just wanted to fence for the country and to reach to the Olympics.
Right.
At the age of 10, I could tell you what and where will I be in 5 years from now, and I be very accurate. So this is how I started my life, from the age of 6 to 18. Every day was known, every day was part of an Excel sheet that at that time I'm here, at that time I'm there. Everything was planned and organized. And then two things happened. One, I will never forget my elder brother told me, every weakness of yours can become your strength. And yes, my eyebrow jumped up and I'm like, okay, what are you saying? And we were quite young and like, from where are you saying those kind of things? And Um, but throughout life, I could see that every time I hit a boundary, hit a limitation, this sentence came to me and said, okay, time to change or to overcome that in a different approach. Um, Merging it together with my ADHD mind, it started working very well. That instead of just trying to force myself and to do one thing, I'm enjoying to see where is the challenge, where is my limitation, and then how do I go about it to overcome it with one way or another. And I think then military hit. At 18, I've been called for the Israeli military as a compulsory service, uh, which till then I could do small changes, moving from one club of fencing to another club of fencing, uh, from one class to another class, which I will not think about a big change in life. Um, but then suddenly everything changed. Um, and I would say I was lucky enough to see it as an opportunity to explore where I can take this journey.
Right.
Instead of feeling that someone sabotaging my life, I'm suppressed. And I think from there,
Evolved.
it evolved to say, hey, I can do it. There's no any fear, and there's no any doubt. As long as I feel that this is the right next step, I just need to surrender myself to that next step, and I trust myself that whatever will happen, I will manage. Some of those things went better, some of them went less, some of them I need to change on the way, but the whole idea behind this journey in life that you feel it, you sense that this is the right thing to do, even if it's a big hurdle, and you just go for it with a full trust that you will manage.
It'll work out, right?
Yes.
So what I hear in this conversation is that there was a lot of slowly building trust that the path that you're walking will uncurl, will unfold, and you will see for yourself where this is headed. But you had some sort of a sense that this is where I need to go. I'm
Yes.
gathering that from your conversation. So I'm going to pick this part where I'm aware that you had shared this with me a little earlier in conversation. And I think you've said it in other places. Joining the forces crashed your identity.
Right.
And this can be very scary for many of us. From personal experience, in my earlier days of working, my first job was in a pharma organization, and 5 years of good work there. Um, the entire department was shutting down, and we were being laid off. Of course, we were figuring out, being taken by another organization, figuring things out. But I remember that at that relatively early age in life, I felt shattered. I would nearly relate it to almost like feeling trauma. But I gather that's not what happened to you. So, do you want to tell me what you mean by an identity got shattered?
The story started 12 years early as a sportsman. That my father, although he was an Olympian and he did all the things to be the best athlete he could, when it was our turn, he always said it's an educational program for you. You need to learn from this experience. How far you will go, we don't know.
Right.
But what are you learning?
Right.
And I think through many losses, many failures, many situations that I was thrown and I need to be alone. My coach will not be there, or my coach will decide to stand on the, with the opponent. I figure out that if I'm not trusting myself, I have no one to trust when it's my performance.
Right.
Of course, you always have the family, but when you are out there competing, they cannot handhold you. When I started traveling abroad at the age of 12, you suddenly figure out, okay, no one knows to speak English and the coach don't know where to go, which means that I need to step up because I want to be able to reach the competition on time and to understand what to do.
Sure.
So you're constantly learning that I have to build this
Skill.
inner trust or the skill of doing things and not being afraid of doing them, but learning out of them.
Yeah.
And then I developed myself for 12 years to be a person that know himself, feeling very confident wherever he go. Built myself that in my environment I was one of the best.
Right.
And then you go to military, the first thing they're saving you, they're giving you uniform, you're giving you a number, and you're no one. You are one out of 50, and out of this 50, you know that 50% will not survive the training course. So you see people and you know, okay, some of us will not survive. And suddenly, okay, all the things that I built and based on years of experience now mean nothing to anyone because no one knows me, no one care about where am I coming from.
Right.
And I need to start from the beginning. And what am I starting? I don't even know because no one is giving you an itinerary. Okay, this is what will happen in the first month. This is what will happen in the second month.
It's very unpredictable.
The
Apart from
first
this,
sentence
there's a
that
structure.
the first sentence that our officer said, "Welcome to the kingdom of uncertainty," and then silence. He didn't elaborate. He didn't, and like, okay then.
Yeah,
And this
that's
is after
scary.
signing an extra year. And so I know, okay, I just extended my life in military, and this is what he's saying, and this is the feeling.
Yeah. You're hit by it.
It's like, oh my God.
Yes.
I would say it continued to the biggest difference between being a professional athlete in individual sport, where it's all about you and what you do, to a military team that you are learning that everyone are equal and you have to work with everyone and you are as good as the last one, right? But the last one might be lazy, the last one might not be fit and he didn't train before military like you. And why do I need to do all of those things? Why do I need to carry them? Why do I need to handle all of their problems?
Right.
Which was a huge identity crisis and made me sit in front of the officer multiple times trying to explain them I don't need all of this training and they're telling me you're going to work harder now.
So there
And
were moments when you wanted to get out.
of course,
Wow.
yes, on a
Wow.
weekly base. Yes, yes. Well, again, you're standing on some dune sand in the middle of nowhere, fully bruised, physically destroyed, mentally feeling that what am I doing here? Knowing that instead of that I could be in a competition in some five-star hotel,
Right.
representing the country, and everything is so much more comfortable. My only worry if I win or lose, and now I don't know when is my next meal.
Right. And you don't even know why you're doing this. Like that also can sometimes be a question as to I know why I was in the Olympics or I know why I was fencing. But was there ever a question that why am I doing this?
So I think this what saved me to not run away, and because the why was stronger than anything else.
Right.
And later on in life, I understood that if you put a purpose to what you do, the journey you
comes
can
towards
overcome everything in the
Yes.
journey.
Yes.
But this what I knew that once I left the sport behind and I chose to go into the special forces, I wanted to go only to that specific unit where we're in charge of search and rescue and saving life. And I said, no matter what, I don't want to do anything else in military other than that. So whatever I need to do, I know two things. One, time is never stop. At some point, it will end. And second, if this is my purpose, I need to be able to handle that and face whatever I need to face.
Yes. Yes. 4 years in the forces, shattering of an identity, recreating yourself, and then you went back and you joined your fencing and participated in the Olympics. Is that right? Did I get this route right?
No.
Okay.
The fencing part was behind.
Okay.
Again, fencing is a sport that is very difficult to just continue. Also, I think I understood that life has much more to offer.
So
Uh,
it really opened up a whole new chapter.
yes, I went to travel to Africa for 9 months,
Wow.
and to lose myself one more time so I can find something new.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Brilliant.
yeah. But by that time I understood that life keep on
Evolving.
evolving, and you have new things, and you cannot hold the old you if you want to keep on moving.
So, what I have understood, and maybe you would articulate this, is that the experience in the forces trained you for having uncertainty be the norm.
I will take it one step forward, and it
Please.
became my addiction.
Ah,
If for 12 years I wanted everything predictable, I wanted to know when is the training, I wanted to know what am I doing in the training, I wanted to know when the competition. In these 4 years, I saw that life is so much more exciting, and the internal feeling of it doesn't matter what you will throw at me in life, bring it on, was something that I decided that I want to keep it with me. And you ask how could I merge all the personalities? It's from each personality I choose what is relevant to take to the next one. And it's not that I'm trying to forget it.
hmm.
It's
But it's available for access where necessary.
exactly. So
You
I'm not
put it in.
attached to it,
Yeah.
but the learnings from
The past.
being in London with a coach, I don't know English and don't know how to hold them up, and at the age of 13, I need to navigate and take the whole group and figure out, barely speak English myself.
Yeah.
It's something that I will never forget. And what is next? So
Right.
I keep on piling what is relevant for the new part.
Hmm.
And same thing, I think, after military
Hmm.
was the same
Hmm.
direction that I said, okay, there are certain things from military that I cannot take to normal life because it will
Right.
be too much for people to handle.
Right.
Um, but the love of uncertainty and the feeling of freedom
Hmm.
became one of my highest values in life,
Hmm.
thanks to that.
Beautiful. Love for uncertainty. That can be very unsettling for a lot of people in my audience. Yet I see there's so much power in accepting and beyond accepting, embracing that the uncertainty is where you would navigate and flourish. You would exercise a muscle, something would deeply challenge you and help you know something about yourself. I can imagine what it would do to people when they did that. Wow. You said something. Sorry, wait, you want to say
No,
something?
I'm saying that just imagine that the world will not have seasons, right?
Yes.
We have four, some countries have less or more seasons,
But it's
but
predictable.
sometimes it's predictable, sometimes no, but it keep on changing,
That's
and
right.
you have to change with the season
Yes.
to continue with your life.
Right.
And for me, it's the same.
Hmm.
Seasons of life keep on changing,
Hmm.
and I don't want to be in a situation that I cannot
Adapt to it.
adapt, I cannot tolerate, I cannot perform, I cannot live in
Hmm.
one of the seasons. So I need to wait, and then I need to
Hmm.
do a comeback.
Right.
And for that, as more you embrace the change,
Right.
which actually coming from the Eastern philosophies, and this is one of the fundamentals of the Indian philosophy that everything is changing,
Yes.
is actually giving the different or the opposite effect
Hmm.
compared to you are trying to control everything and make everything the way you want.
Yes. Yes. Because you're speaking about the Indian philosophy, um, you flew down to India and you also participate in Vipassana. Tell us a little about the thought inside you when before you sat in the aircraft for India, and what from Vipassana contributes to who you are today.
That flight was a continuity of 2 months prior to that. That I already decided that I'm leaving Israel, and I had 2 months to
Figure.
figure how do I get rid of all my stuff before I'm flying, and this process of letting go of all the things that you accumulated was very I'd say spiritual, because I had
Hmm.
my climbing equipment, and I which I really loved, but I cannot carry with me. And what the point? To whom am I giving it? And I had my, other different equipment for this and my house equipment. And
You were shedding off so
you're
much.
shedding, but you also kind of giving it to certain people that played something in your life, or you just living in the street
Yeah.
for others who needs it. Um, and then you have emptiness, which is a very interesting, I would say, spiritual, but can be also very irritating and suffocating experience.
Yeah.
Suddenly you have nothing. You're going to nowhere. What do I do with all this emptiness, and how do I deal with it?
Yes.
Our system not built for that. Our system built to fill gaps. Taking off with that airplane, I had few hours to sit with myself and see what I want to fill it with. And I had few wishes, but one of them, live life without dreaming, which again, it might be a little bit contradictory to performance. But for me, I'm not looking for the top of the mountain. I will be happy to climb many mountains, but I don't care if I reach to the top or the top of the mountain, but can I climb? And how many can I climb, and how many I can ascend? And climbing and ascending, descending is the same experience. So that flight was very, very interesting. Even wrote in my notebook that I would like to find someone that can guide me to my next spiritual journey. But not necessarily in a spiritual way. It was very weird. It just came to me, and I just put it like that. I was very interesting to learn more about the Eastern philosophies, um, which I also just put it like that without, okay, I'm going to meet this specific person or this guru or this
School.
Yeah,
It was
I just
open-ended, yeah.
I just put it and I forgot all about it until I reached to India, and then again, through gut feelings, I decided to step into different places. One of the first steps were Vipassana. It was not my first course. I already did few in Israel before that.
Okay.
But I knew that Vipassana have the power to help you hold this emptiness and the silence so you can expand. And this is what Vipassana gave me when I did it for the first time. From trying to hold things tight and improve them and internalize and break them down and rebuild them to just learn the skill of observation and not do anything. Which is Vipassana. You just let it be there in your space, and if something need to happen, it will happen. If not, not. And you allowing it. Again, I would say in the Western education or philosophy, it's very troubling concept. In the East, is much known, but for someone like me that been in so many performance like activities, suddenly to not do anything and to solve things, it was another breakdown of identity. That okay, I saw that I understand things, but now it's a completely new learning, which was very troubling. I just don't do anything, and I feel that I'm solving it. It's just you could feel it very clearly. So Vipassana became something that one more pillar of the way I'm thinking, the way I'm operating. It helped me change many of my perceptions towards life, or clarifying even better or deeper how do I want to operate in life
I got that.
to where I am today.
Yeah. I see how that's a beautiful investment. Mon, I'm going to ask you this question, which is around this phrase that you use, the economy of behavior. And I know that when you say this, you're referring to people's mental energy.
Right.
Now, my understanding of mental energy in my experience, when, for instance, I'm coaching participants to really enhance their executive presence, the space where they are dialing down or exhausting their mental energy is when they are trying to create a strong impression. They're trying really hard that the other person likes them or is impressed by them, or this stress that they carry inside the room, which is not the good stress, but the difficult stress that makes them really burn themselves out to a great degree before they have even started to perform. What has your experience been when you say the phrase economy of behavior? And not just from the sports world where you come from, but I know that you also coach leaders in the corporate. What's your experience been with economy of behavior?
So the idea of economy of behavior is to people to understand and to have the awareness that when I behave in any way, there's a price for it. Different people have different mental currency, right? Same as we have different account in the bank.
Hmm.
Now, is my behavior is in a way that it's costing me heavily
Hmm.
because I'm rude or because I'm very nice?
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. How much is it costing me?
Hmm.
And for how long can I sustain it?
Hmm.
Right? I can buy the best bag in the world. Now it costs me so much now I cannot put anything inside the bag. What's the point of buying this bag?
Hmm.
Right? The same idea is that I would like people to behave, and this is where the training comes into place. Can you be efficient in the way you are behaving to achieve what you want?
Hmm.
And even if you need to present in front of the board, you need to be nice to people, not exactly a cup of tea, whatever you need. You have challenges at home. How do you streamline it that you withdraw as less as possible from your
Hmm.
mental currency?
Hmm.
And at times, if you can even invest and gain in the journey, why not?
Right.
Many people trying to protect themselves outside in some way,
Hmm.
but inside is not aligned.
Hmm.
This is one of the things where people draining themselves the most.
Hmm. Hmm.
Can you build a system that your internal and your external are working
Environment.
together?
Hmm.
You are minimizing dramas, you are minimizing stories, and you are able to stitch it in a way that it was very efficient,
Hmm.
very low cost, and created the impact you wanted.
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
One person can say one sentence, another can speak for 10 minutes.
Right.
They will say the same thing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
One person can go through tons of emotions to be able to somehow hold it when they need to communicate or they need to face a big meeting or closing a deal. Well, someone just know, okay, this is what we work on. This is how I need to negotiate. It might be very painful or they might press me.
Hmm.
I'm good with that. I'm not going to be surprised by that.
Hmm.
I'm ready to take it. I know my cards and I'm good to
Hmm.
go.
Hmm.
So eventually, the second person will spend so much less energy. They will be able to sustain it for longer.
Hmm.
And eventually, in the game of life, it's not a sprint.
Hmm.
We all appreciate sprinters, right? We all know who is the best sprinter in the world. Few people know who is the best marathon person in the world. Why? Because the excitement of 100-meter is not the same as 42 kilometers.
Hmm.
But life is much more of a 42 kilometer or much longer. Can you
Right.
sustain yourself? And eventually, we don't like the sprinter who won once.
Hmm.
We like those, so we appreciate those athletes, those musicians, um, politicians, company owners that were able to do it
Sustainably.
sustainably for 1 decade, 2 decades, maybe even 3 decades.
Yeah.
So from one hand, we like the short excitement, and we think that life is all about that. And if I just can close the deal quickly, I've made it in life. And then when one small thing is going, you are collapsing because you invested everything that you had, you put all in, and now you are empty.
Yeah.
Or you understand, okay, this is just one more thing that I'm doing. It might be the toughest mountain to climb. It might be the biggest deal of my life. It might be just to take my dog into down at midnight because the dog is all over the place, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Right.
Can I be
Sustainably the same person
exactly
in every
in
room
any
and context I
situation?
walk in. Yeah. I see so much value in what you just said, and allow me to just stitch it for my understanding. Um, when you were speaking about your Vipassana experience, I saw and I heard in your voice that through the power of observation, they helped you significantly bring down getting triggered.
Correct.
Your levels of reaction that would very spontaneously pop out were being given an environment to just sit with. And now I see that your ability to not get triggered is a key learning that you're carrying forward while helping people maintain their mental currency.
Yes.
The external trigger is such a poke at. It's like how on Instagram there could be so many opportunities to spend your money, and you're like, okay, I don't have to give into that. I don't have to give into that. So you're like training folks in there are going to be so many such situations that are going to come your way that will trigger you to react, to participate, and like you said, keep it drama free. And you're telling them that there is a certain limit to how much you can provide to the world, and if you have identified the places where you clearly want to make a contribution, you want to manage that resource well. That's what I got. It's powerful.
Exactly. Exactly. And we keep on talking about this is, how do I stitch my different life experiences into
What you do
uh,
today.
training others and working with others. And I'm the number one trainee of myself. I have to walk the path myself. Sometimes I'm doing it better, sometimes not.
I get that.
But sometimes it's never ending story of can I build this currency and not just run and spend it, but observe, understand the situation.
Yeah.
I think then also the right feeling, the right thoughts, the intuition is kicking much more and it's becoming much clearer.
Yeah.
When I have lots of noise, it's much more difficult to figure out
Yes.
what is the important thing.
Right.
And at the same time, we also need to understand that as a human beings, as a survival being, our system built to increase our awareness to threats.
Awareness to traits. Yeah.
As the system need to raise red flags as
Hmm.
soon as possible, so I will not get into any
You'll not
trouble.
get sucked
I
into
will,
it.
I will
Yes.
not get into problems.
Yes.
I will not risk my life.
Right. Right.
In this bargain, what's happening in the current life that we are so far away from real threats, the system is just shooting many times threats, and therefore we are falling back.
Hmm.
We fall back now. We need to explain and we need to build a story
Hmm.
why we have done all of those things,
Hmm.
and we are training ourselves to avoid situation. We're training ourselves to spend in places that we are hoping it will be a quick solution. We are spending without knowing on auto pay
Correct.
on things that we have done, and we are trying to manage all
Hmm.
of those things
Hmm.
instead of learning the lesson of okay, let me just observe, let me sit
Hmm.
with it. If I'm slowing down, things will actually happen faster.
Yeah.
If I do less, my impact is more.
Hmm.
So I can take 100 rupee mental currency and I can build a kingdom
Correct. Correct.
by just flipping few understandings like that.
Right. Right. What I am listening to is that you are managing that currency with awareness. You're also learning to not necessarily control the external situation. You're certainly managing your resource, that's your mental
Right.
space, but you're not trying to control the outcome so strongly because you know that the more you control, the more mental resources are flowing there. But that leads me to now ask you this because I can see that this situation or dilemma will show up for people. Could you, in your way of explaining, show the difference between being involved in interactions happening around you without being entangled in them? Just differentiating between being involved versus being entangled and enmeshed.
This is a very thin line, and that very difficult to identify, and you need to accept that you will be on both sides of the line at different times.
Correct.
And you just need to be aware of it.
Right.
Again, if I'm going back to Vipassana, to the Eastern philosophies, there's a simple way of understanding life through a chain reaction. Our senses will sense something. It's still just a something. We don't know what is it. All of that will come and merge into our mind, in our body, and we will create a perception, what we call reality. We are sitting here together. What you're understanding from the situation, what I'm understanding is completely different things. There are two different perspectives in the same situation. Each person understands life completely different because of multiple things, from genetics to family to origin to geography to endless things.
Right.
But eventually you sense something in a moment, you create a picture. This picture now, once you solidify, then you decide, okay, this is what I understand, will automatically create emotions which will force you to behave in a certain way.
Yes.
Just think that you are watching a comedy movie,
Right.
you will laugh. Doesn't matter that 10 minutes ago someone irritated you. You are now seeing a new perspective, you are laughing.
Correct.
Right? You are laughing, you're feeling much more light, you will behave differently.
Right.
Suddenly, someone will change the channel to news, and immediately you see things. I didn't know this happened today. Your emotion completely changed.
Correct.
Because of new perspective of how the day is going.
True that.
Your behavior is completely different. Same thing. We don't need TV to dictate our perspective. We are dictating our own perspective. And if I'm able to notice or observe the perspective I created on a situation and then choose, is it the one that will be the most economical for me, or I can choose another perspective which will lead you to the same impact that I want in much more economical way.
Choice of perspective
It's the whole game.
allows you to manage your mental resource so that you then know that, is this perspective going to help me grow this? Is this perspective going to help me manage my resource? Is this perspective going to take this conversation or interaction towards the direction I'd like it to be? So what you're not controlling again is the outcome. What you're controlling is the perspective that you carry into that interaction.
And if you notice, suddenly you gave me a list of questions that you questioning the perspective.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Once you start questioning, you hear the answers, you know, okay, this perspective gonna work for me.
Right.
Because now you are not giving orders to yourself. You are not fighting that, you know, suddenly I'm sad, but I cannot be seen sad. Or any other situation that we are fighting with what's going on inside and I need to protect something outside.
Right.
Now, suddenly, when we look on the perspective, I'm asking myself questions, and those questions are leading me to the right perspective, to a clear answers for myself, which then I have a smooth pass because now the emotions and the behavior will work for me.
Right.
I'm not working against them or working for them.
Right.
They will now merging in this one chain reaction that I sense something, I choose my reality or my perspective, and I can just float in this moment through my emotions and my behaviors.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I see that's such a strong tool that people could carry with them in their toolbox for life, where they see themselves in a situation that's not working for them. And a key question that they want to ask themselves is, am I seeing it the way that would be best for me, or am I seeing it the way the world would generally? Can I find a way to look at what is something for me to learn from here? Can I look at what is something for me to learn about myself? But if I, in this moment when it's difficult for me, just go into curiosity of answering that, that could shape the perspective.
And eventually me.
Yeah,
Instead of me trying to shape the reality,
yeah,
I'm shaping myself around the reality through choosing what is the most economical perspective at that moment.
Yes.
And the beauty of it, next moment I can flip the perspective and have exactly the opposite perspective, which is
Precisely.
not wrong.
Which is not wrong.
The next moment required me something else.
Right.
But now I'm also not stuck in this. Okay, the morning started bad. Now the
Right.
whole day I'm struggling. The end of the day it was so bad.
Right.
I'm not able to sleep, and the next day I'm
Yeah.
having no energy.
Hmm.
And 3 days later, I figure out that because some traffic light or someone spilled coffee on me. Now for 3 days, I'm out of myself.
Correct. Correct.
Instead of that, in that moment,
You
I
create a
started,
perspective
I
moment by
finished,
moment.
and I can move to the next
Yes.
one.
Yes. Yes. You're really saving a lot of your good life and not letting these years pass or days pass over burning over spilled coffee, but you're really collecting yourself faster if you learn the art of building perspective on the go. Yeah.
Right.
I love that. I think that's a fabulous talent and skill. And I can see now what you do. I now just saw a bit of what you do with professionals, whether they're on the field or they're in boardrooms. You're helping them build perspective.
And this is also then the difference between just speaking for a moment to be able to sustain it for decades.
Yeah.
Recently, Virat Kohli spoke in some sports event that it was not about winning one match or having one big inning. He said, I wanted to be the best batsman for a decade or more.
Hmm.
Can I do that? Which means that
Hmm.
everything that's happening to me now, I
Hmm.
need to do it the best way,
Hmm.
knowing that the next moment I will need to do it again.
Right.
And however I've done it in the past, or whatever I achieved, is basically nothing because I need to do it one more time.
Correct.
We spoke about being humble,
Humble.
which is a beautiful perspective by itself. Any
Hmm.
situation, can I humble myself instead of
Hmm.
activating my ego,
Hmm.
my insecurities, my fears, past traumas? Can I
Right.
just be humble to the situation,
Yes.
accept it as it is, and
Hmm.
see where I can step up in that moment?
And this, I realize that this part of the conversation could just become so endless with experiential sharing, and I'm really intrigued by it. Yet, I would love the audience to see this part of your journey. While you've coached people both for sport and mental fitness, um, I want to understand what is your role at this organization called BioPeak. How is it that you're contributing to people's health holistically through this venture? Tell us.
So first, Biopic made a very bold move in India and might be even globally to take health from where it's currently, which means that you first need to be sick, then you cannot tolerate the sickness anymore, and then you are looking for someone to save you, to a preventative mindset.
Hmm.
Can we look on data that can tell us where you might be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Can we take you step by step through hundreds of data points, design into one program to a better life?
Hmm.
In this journey, we understood that, of course, you have the gut and you have your biomechanics and the way you move, your genetics, your family history, but something that was, I would say, missing in this thing is the mind.
Hmm.
Funnily enough, again, you go to the ancient scripts in Asia, they're all speaking about it in one go. Mind and body, and they were always looking at it together. Some of the Western splitted it, and now when you look on health, you look at split.
Hmm.
Biopic again step up and took it as part of the whole journey.
Hmm.
As part of my company, we're collaborating with them to handle all the psychological part, again, from different medical challenges, mental difficulties to performance,
Hmm.
and working on the emotions, working on cognition, working on minimizing noises in your environment or inside you, even if the environment very challenging. And we saw huge differences in those people data in the other aspects. Suddenly the digestion is much better. The breath is, or the respiratory system is better. Skin issues disappearing. Energy production. And of course, I can say it also vice versa. People with different mental challenges will have gut issue. Once you fix the gut,
Wow, I
mental
believe that.
issues disappearing.
I believe that, yeah.
Depression, we succeed to eliminate depression from people through nutrition without any psychological intervention.
Yes.
So I think what we do in Biopic now is not only monitoring you and giving you reports, but we are taking your reports and giving you one program that include everything that you need to be able to sustain the best life you can. Again, we might have some athletes, we'll have family coming from family companies, we'll have entrepreneurs, founders of giant companies, and again, some of them already coming a little late when the illnesses are already hitting them.
Right.
But the whole journey, once you do it in one place together, connected, and I know what the physio is doing, I know the genetics. When my team is speaking about psychology, they also know how this person like to communicate or what's happening in the ATP and the energy production. So it's all one stitched program.
Process, yeah.
You just need to listen
Show
and
up.
follow.
Yes. And I'm curious because a lot of professionals who are listening to this would also somewhere feel time pressed. Like someone who's listening to this right now is probably driving or taking a ride in the metro or really just taking that coffee sipping time before they get to the next meeting. How much time would it take for somebody to invest in their health for one level of reset? What?
We have the initial sprint where you come for half day.
Okay.
For some people, it might take slightly more than half day to do all our testing.
Right.
We gather the hundreds of data points. You can go home and relax. We are doing all the hard work behind the scene to stitch it into one program. And then again, depends with what we found is how much you need to invest. For some people, it's just tweaking the diet. For some people, it means a new artillery of supplements. For some people, is many points in the day that they have to change. For some people, we know that okay, they cannot change because their job required certain things, like flying to the US every second or third week. Obviously, the whole circadian rhythm. Obviously, spending so many hours in the plane keep on erupting or disrupting the issues or the health that you have.
Right.
And we need to work with that.
Correct.
And we are working, most of our clients have no time. We need to find the gaps and to educate them and to show them the impact that if they're investing, they can do more. Eventually, those guys want to do more.
Right.
Everyone wants to do more and achieve more. And even if it's someone who have no job necessarily and they're at home taking care of the family, they also want to be able to walk freely, pain free, to be able to leave the grandchildren, to be able to sleep properly, enjoy life. So it's not only for those who working hard. Eventually, people choose to invest time for health only when it's already lost situation. We are suggesting it to do slightly earlier and to invest little by little because this is again part of the marathon. You invest every day, half an hour here, 5 minutes there, taking care of your food, eating with awareness, taking your supplements. You already have done huge step. We are not asking you to now stop for 5 hours a day or to quit your job and do those things. So the whole program is teach according to your lifestyle and what you can or can't do. Of course, you will need to invest and spend some time because you owe it to yourself.
Got that. Got that. But it would people would certainly be doing themselves a favor if they walked in to have themselves be diagnosed, to become aware of something beyond a regular blood test that they would otherwise get done, a more holistic view on their health, and make them aware of where could they possibly be going off track, and if this continued, a default possibility would be dash. Just becoming aware would be so powerful. Like that awareness would make them shake themselves up.
Awareness is the step zero,
Right.
what we call.
Right. And the action after that.
Okay, now what do I do?
What do I do?
Without action plan, awareness is very scary.
I agree
Sometimes
with
you prefer not to know.
I get
But
that.
this is where we saw
Yes.
the gap in the industry, that lots of companies, institutions raising the awareness. That okay,
But what's
now I have a
next?
watch telling me that I slept bed. What do I do with it?
Right.
Now I notice that my digestion is not working properly, right? Because I got my blood test, or my metabolism sequencing. What do I do with it?
Right.
The what do I do with it is the biggest gap that we currently have.
Got that. Got that. I trust. I trust what you're saying there. There needs to be action beyond the plan. Yeah.
Backed with data, so you know that you have done certain steps. Is it working or not? If it's not working,
Yes.
what do we need to do to make it work?
True.
Right? And this way, we are with you the whole way to make sure that the impact you wanted and you came for, you will gain.
Correct. Correct. You work closely with professionals who are on the field, professionals who are in the boardroom. You have this wide, diverse space, and you're helping them build themselves for performance. And I understand that there's a word sustained. You're looking for sustainable performance, not just like a peak and you can't pull it off again. So I know that there must be a lot of structure and at the same time a lot of muscle building that the person is doing so that they're able to replicate themselves again and again. For the audience who's listening to us, what would you like them to understand about performance, that they do not see it as an act to impress, but see it as a way of life? What do you want them to think? And what do you want them to possibly take as an action that they themselves can sustainably perform?
I will have two questions. One, what are you believing in? What is your purpose? What are you believing in is who you are. What are you believing in is how you shape your perspective or perceptions. What are you believing is the values who will help you or will sabotage you in challenging moments. And the second thing is purpose. Is my purpose strong enough to make me naturally want to take the challenge, to want to overcome the challenge? Or it's too weak and I see the challenge is limitation. I can't do it. Because with a strong enough purpose, every human being can overcome anything. I would recommend here to read the book of Viktor Frankl, Men Searching for Meaning. Beautiful book, a great theory that's been tested in the harshest environment possible. So he backed his theory by doing it himself and during the Holocaust and facing the worst camps can be, but holding one thing, holding his purpose and taking all the wrong decisions to be able to survive. And through the book, he's explaining this idea.
I get that.
And for me, this is the two things that matter the most. If you want to raise above yourself and you want to expand and transcend who you are, and sometimes it's not only the end performance, but it's all the journey through or till that moment, including the way down, which sometimes is more difficult than the way up. This is the two concepts that you need to have very solid with yourself. what am I believing?
What do you believe in, and what's
In
your
myself
purpose?
mostly. For some people, I would say even believing in external power as a religious people is very powerful. You can do it internally, externally, but your beliefs need to be from strength and not from insecurities or fears.
Fears. Yeah.
And you need to have a purpose. Why do you wake up in the morning and do what you do? Which is slightly different than a dream. When you dream something, you dream about the peak of that mountain that you are able to reach.
Right.
When you have purpose, is every step on the way.
Right. Where does intuition fit into all of this?
To answer those questions, there's no manual of right answers and wrong answers. Different people will give you different opinions. Intuition will give you the answers. Intuition gave me answers through a very young age, and with the different avatars of myself, I learned to develop and trust more and more on my intuition rather than anything else. At times, I even challenged my intuition to not listen to it, and I paid the price. And again, many people asking me, what is intuition? How do you listen to the intuition? How do you know
Correct.
that this answer is from your intuition and not from your
Your
insecurity?
ego. Yeah.
One, you need to play, and
It's
the
a
word is
muscle.
play.
It's a muscle. Yeah.
It's a muscle that you are playing with. You will know when you know. Sometimes it's very difficult to tell someone after so many rounds, then you will know the right answer, or your intuition will be strong enough. It's something that you need to unravel, build, and later on trust. Uh, for me, I know exactly where is it in my body, and when I feel it, I know, okay, this is intuition, this is not anything else. For different people, it can be other things. This I'm saying, it's not one thing. Intuition is something that you want to have a mindset of exploring. As more you are willing to fail and learn, intuitively your system is adapting and doing the micro changes.
Correct.
Of okay, I'm choosing that. You go and do it and say, oh, this was a worse decision because XYZ. Now because I did it and now I know my system now learning and knowing. And I think the only trick here is to decide and go.
Right.
Most people want to decide, but then hesitate, doubt, and taking a decision from a confused perspective, and therefore even the learnings are very confused.
Correct.
One thing that I learned in life that first I choose, second I go, third I'm seeing what have I created for myself.
Right.
Instead of trying to assume what will happen if, because we don't really know.
We don't really know.
Different life scenarios taught me that I know only when I reached.
Right.
If I ask lots of questions, I also learn that okay, there's something there that I should not go.
When you deliberate so much over it, it's a sign to you that my system is awakening something inside me.
Exactly. But again, this is after exploring and knowing that my intuition works like that.
Right.
Because my intuition doesn't ask so many questions. But first, I just need to go put myself in the swamp, see how it feels, and then understand the learning from that.
Right.
You need to walk to those places.
Right.
And only then you are developing also this trust that, okay, I walked there, I understood, and I will do it again or I will not do it again.
Right.
Or I will do it again, but the next time with new learnings.
Correct.
You keep on building this
skill,
internal power that you are also trusting yourself. As more you trust yourself, your intuition awakening and much more expressive.
Yes. Mon, you speak about intuition, and for our audience, I'm sharing this understanding I have that in the evolving world of AI, experts speak that something that will really need to surface up is the emotional intelligence that an individual has, and the second human skill of intuition. And a lot of people can have a view of intuition being a little fluffy. Yet, with my own experience, I see much value in it. But I'd love to hear from you, and how could you help an audience who's becoming aware that, yes, I'm walking into a very uncertain territory with evolving technology, AI. What are two things as actions they could do so that they start exercising, developing a muscle of intuition? And you're also free to recommend any books to read, but yes.
Um, I think that the muscle of intuition have to come within.
Mm.
And this is the first step. I cannot do something externally, trying to look good or fit in the social norms,
Mm.
because I'm shutting down the inner space for intuition. So the first thing is, again, if I want to develop the inner space, what am I willing to do for that?
Mm.
And when I'm saying what am I willing to do for that, what is the first step that I'm willing to take
Mm.
and see what happens? Because if I'm not doing the first step, I'm doing the same thing. And I
Mm.
might improve myself theoretically.
Mm.
I may increase my awareness to and for. But if I'm not stepping practically into a decision and into action, I'm actually ruining my life. It's better not to know.
Mm.
It's
Mm.
better to be a caveman not knowing the bear is waiting for you outside.
Mm.
Once you know the bear is outside, you will need to do something about it. It's the same thing. Everyone talking about awareness, but awareness have to come with an action.
Mm.
And when I say action, again, connecting it into Vipassana, that it's not about doing, it's about being.
Mm.
Can I feel internally that there is something bubbling from the inside that I really want to face, and saying I'm going to face it, and whatever will happen, uh, I will see, I will deal with, and I will manage.
Mm.
And even if I will manage it badly,
Mm.
this is my first experience.
Mm.
And now the question is, how many cycles of that can I do?
Mm.
Non-born Olympian, and train really hard.
Mm.
Many of the talented people who born with the talent actually didn't reach to be the best
Mm.
performers,
Mm.
because they didn't do enough iterations of improving the talent that they had.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you have lots of worries in life, if you have lots of doubts, um, if you're bounded by lots of social norms. What is the one step that you're saying, I want to do it for myself and I'm going to do it and I will deal with that?
Mm.
And I saw people doing it and the whole life changed.
Yeah.
You need to accept that certain things that you knew and were familiar and were under control, even if they were negative, will break.
There's a possibility.
And you need to be okay with it, because those
Right.
things were holding you back.
Correct.
Moving forward, you want to keep on building.
Right.
And this is again the difference between trying to gain security from an insecurity perspective,
Mm.
and therefore I'm trying to control everything and accept bad, negative, unwanted moments in my life just because I know them, or I'm shifting into let me explore.
Mm.
And when we are exploring not necessarily with knowing. I explore without knowing. I explore for the sake of exploring. I
Correct.
go somewhere to see, feel, something will come to me. What
Mm.
is it? I need to be, I would say, brave enough, or have the desire for new things.
Correct.
Because only then things can move on.
Right.
Otherwise, again, we are just talking about something,
Mm.
and the difference between my theoretical conversations and my actual practical life just
Yeah.
increasing to a
Mm.
level that
Now they don't
it's
match.
too much.
Right.
And this is also where my efficiency of my current mental, my efficiency of my mental currency is kind of
Depletes.
depletes by
Right.
even not knowing. It just
Right.
I'm just throwing money,
Right.
not knowing it.
So being aligned with what you're thinking and you're actually doing, the more alignment you can bring there is also where you're preserving your mental currency, and you're also exercising your muscle of intuition. If you can, as you're thinking and as it's coming to you, you don't necessarily have to do everything that you're thinking, but it's also
Stepping
learning.
into that and accepting the learnings
Yeah, accepting the
as part
learnings.
of the exploration.
Right. Are you willing to take the risk to fail? Because your intuition will put you into circumstances and you're going to now start to listen to a different voice inside you. That's the real you.
Exactly.
But are you willing to take the risk to step in? So that's the one thing you're telling them. Can you get comfortable with taking risks? That's the first muscle to build. And then that starts to open up something.
Right. And is it a risk of failure, which is quite scary, or is it a risk for learning? Which over the years I learned that when you try to set a perception, am I willing to take a risk for learning? It's something more people are willing to step into.
Yeah.
Other than I know that I'm going to fail, I'm still going.
Yes.
Very small percentage of population will go for that, although it's just a perception. It's the same thing.
Yes. It does happen. Yeah. Mon, I'm feeling invested in while I've had this conversation with you. It's opened up a different view on how to look at taking evolving journeys forward. I've had tools in my toolbox, and I realize that I'm adding to it. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. And I think that the tool of communication is one of the most important one for people to be able to practice everything that we are talking about, and for you to be present.
Right.
You need to talk to yourself in the right way, and you need to be a very good communicator internally. And only then I think the external communicator will come naturally to you. So thank you for the journey that you are doing and spreading those knowledge and tools for everyone.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Pleasure.